everyone, and welcome to Say Hey podcast. It's where we delve into the minds of geniuses. And today we have a super special genius all the way from New York.
Oh.
Yeah, all the way from New York. And our special guest is a TV show producer, a stage manager, and a TV director. He's been doing live TV since 1981. He has worked at most popular American TV stations, including the ABC, CBC, NBC, PBS, MTV, VH1, HBO, and so on, just to name a few. He has worked with hundreds of high-profile celebrities, including global political leaders, TV and radio personalities, as well as world-renowned musicians. He is also a musician and a music composer for over 4 to 5 years. He has performed to thousands over the years at conferences, retreats, services, concerts, prisons, hospitals, schools, and churches. He is also the founder of Friends in the Spirit 3,
111.
111. We will get to that one, yeah, what that means, which is a spiritual community.
Yes.
Now, without further ado, it gives us the great pleasure and honor to introduce to you our special guest and genius, Eddie Luisi, to Say Hey podcast.
And genius. You know how many podcasts and videos I've been on? I've never been called a genius. So thank you.
Working on Good Morning America. I mean, it's one of the, I think, the most globally known TV program in the world. Everybody knows Good Morning America, right? So,
Yep.
And over the years, you've probably met more celebrities than anyone on this planet. It's just amazing. I mean, how do you cope with that? You know?
It's funny. It's great. It's fun. And if you go on my Facebook page, you'll notice I have pictures of all the old celebrities.
Yeah.
Now, there was a time a few years ago that I would bring my iPhone and I would do pictures or videos behind the scene. But then management said, Ed, you got to stop doing that. And I said, oh, okay. I want to keep my job, so I'll stop doing it.
Yeah.
But all my friends that were seeing the pictures and videos were like, they loved it. So I said, well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to post all my old pictures. So if you go on my Facebook page, you're seeing pictures from the 80s and 90s, and people are still loving it because, there's actors that, Leonardo DiCaprio, he's a little boy. He's like 12 years old, and I have pictures with him. So it's like really cool to see some of those pictures.
Yeah, it's absolutely. It's I went through your Facebook and it was like, wow. And it's like, wow. And then go, wow. It's just very interesting photos to see, and some of them, like you said, dating back. Even you've got some of the first ladies. I think Mrs. Carter and Mrs. Bush as well. Barbara Bush, I think. Is that right?
And I met 4 presidents in my lifetime, which was great. And they come to the set. Especially in the old days, right? The old days, Good Morning America was part of the ABC Entertainment Division. Then after a certain amount of years, ABC News took over. So what I tell people, because I give talks to college students and stuff, I said, when GMA, Good Morning America, was Entertainment Division, we were more newsy. But when ABC News took over, we were more entertainment. So the 2 divisions try to be like the other person. So it's very, very interesting. But in our old studio, it was called TV2, which was uptown in New York City. It was one little tiny green room. Okay. So I don't know if your audience knows, but a green room's like the waiting room where everybody waits. One little tiny room with maybe 6 chairs. So no matter if you were a president, an actor, a musician, a chef, you sat in that room with each other. You went upstairs and there was one little makeup room. There was a makeup artist and a hair artist. They did everybody, every single guest. They did all the talent, and that was it. And then you come into the studio. The studio was 4 cameras, 2 stage managers. So it was a family type feeling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, pre-COVID, because COVID things are different, but pre-COVID, the studios we're at now, It's 2 levels. There's outsides, there's dressing rooms in the back. There's a green room, but none of the celebrities go in the green room. They all have their private rooms with their private hair and makeup. And Robin Roberts has her own hair and makeup team, and so does George, and so does Michael Strahan. So everybody's in their own little separate things, and then they come to the studio floor. But pre-COVID, we were 14 cameras. We had a studio audience of 100 people. We had a DJ. We had a warm-up guy. It was like a big, carnival. It was like a big show. So the old days were so intimate. So the pictures you're seeing are on those intimate days. And there's a drummer. You know the drummer Phil Collins of Genesis? Have you heard of him?
Yeah.
So Phil Collins comes to the studio one day to do a post-tape. So post-tape is after the show's done. We're going to record. Kind of like what we're doing, we're recording. So he's just hanging out in the kitchen with the crew. And we're just kind of like, just hanging out with Phil Collins and talking. So I go up to him, I say, hey man, you know how to play Wipeout? And he looks at me. Now, Wipeout is a very famous 60s drum solo song in America. And he looks at me like, what are you, stupid? But he gets his fingers and he goes out and he starts going, he starts playing Wipeout for me with his 2 little fingers, and I start laughing, and he broke the ice. It was absolutely cool. He was kind of playing around with us.